I love affidavits. They're my go-to. I use them all the time in all of my administrative processes. And you're going to love affidavits. If you start writing them, you're going to love them because they're based in fact, law, evidence, and your own experience. So if you've been falsely accused of a crime that you didn't commit, I would recommend to affidavit up. Now, I'm not an attorney and I don't give legal advice, but anyone can use an affidavit. And attorneys, judges, all sorts of people, clerks of the court, they recognize affidavits here in America. They're recognized in both Article 3 courts, which are constitutionally ordained courts. Those are true common law courts. And they're also recognized in the admiralty law jurisdiction. So, what you want to do, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And in the beginning of your affidavit, you want to write out your grievances. What did the perpetrator do? What did the one who trespassed against you do? What are their crimes? What are the laws that they broke? And you can correlate your laws with what their action was. So remember, an affidavit of truth is based in fact, law, evidence, and your own experience. If you say anything that is not true, you can suffer the pains and penalties of perjury. So you want to be absolutely truthful in that. Don't make anything up. And you want to be very clear and concise. So firstly, you're going to list your grievances and you're going to write out how you were harmed or injured. And we used harmed when we're talking about the man on the land in the common law, constitutional law jurisdiction. So we don't say injured, we say harmed. If you were harmed, you can list if it was financially, emotionally, physically, and so forth. And you list how that happened, what laws were broken. And at the end of an affidavit of truth, we seek the remedy. We'd like for the one that we're sending the affidavit to, the one who trespassed against us, and we let them know what we are seeking for the remedy. We'd like financial compensation. We'd like to be reimbursed. We would like to have the store write a public apology to those who were harmed during said whatever their law that they broke. They need to come clean, admit it, and apologize. Yeah, you can ask for an apology in an affidavit, and that's fine and dandy. Anyway, and then you want to put a timeline on it. You require a response within 14 days or within 21 days. And what that does is that sets you up for a tacit admission, because that which is not rejected is accepted. Let me say that again. That which is not rejected is accepted. It's called tacit admission. So when you list all of the facts of what happened to you and the laws that the perpetrator broke, now you're holding them accountable. And because you're basing it in fact, truth, law, evidence, and your own experience, how can they rebut it? It's a universal law that the truth will set us free. So when we send an affidavit declaration of truth to one who has trespassed against us, who has violated our unalienable rights, what are they seeing in their face on their desk? They have to look at it. This is the truth. This is what happened. This is how I was harmed. And you list your grievances, correlate the laws, and then go back to the remedy that you seek. You put a timeline on it, and when they do not rebut your claim stands as truth. When they do not reject your claim, it stands as truth. It's called tacit admission. And then after you get your tacit admission, because they didn't respond, because how could they? And if they were to respond, let's say they want to rebut your claims, they're allowed to do that. They would have to do so with their own affidavit of truth. And they have to base theirs on fact, law, evidence, and their own experience. Now, if you're telling the truth in your affidavit, which I believe you are and you will, guess what? They're not going to be able to rebut your claims. But if they try, they're going to have to base it in fact, law, evidence, and their own experience. And sometimes you can come to a conclusion that, oh, this was an error, or, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I was breaking a law, but now that you brought it to my awareness, I do want to remedy this. And they will either financially compensate you or do whatever it is that you're asking. Like it could be a grocery store that violated your rights and was discriminating against you. You can ask the grocery store, manager to post a public apology. There's all sorts of things you can get. It doesn't have to be monetary. There are things to remedy the matter. If somebody runs over your bike, you can ask them to replace the bike, right? And have a good handshake. This is what grown-ups do. This is how we settle the matter. It's very sane. It's not a lot of fighting and continuing on to go into the courtrooms. It's actually really sane, and it's a beautiful way to live. And we, of course, have to go through a forgiveness process when we've been trespassed against. That's not always the easiest thing to do, and especially when others don't own their side of the street. But that's a process that we have to work on within ourselves, because we know our rights have been violated all over the place. But if we don't stand for our rights, we're not going to have any, because they're just going to take them away left and right, so that these strangers and greed mongers want to control the masses, the sheeple. Oh my goodness. It's just such a mess. But I encourage you to stand for your rights, and you have the right to stand for your rights, and write a lawful affidavit. And if you want to learn more about writing a lawful affidavit that has teeth, I want to encourage you to visit americansinaction.info. And at the top of the screen, it has the affidavits cursor, or not cursor, the prompt there. And go ahead and click on that, and there will be a drop-down button, and hit Declaration of Truth, Affidavit Declaration of Truth. Watch the video. It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. It's the best video I've seen on affidavit writing. The woman, I believe, was a student, or possibly still is a student, of Jack and Margie Flynn, who I call Grandfather and Grandmother America. They are absolute experts on the Constitution and everything to do with standing. So God bless them or this woman for putting together this video, and it's so good. Yeah, you want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. You want to put a time machine on it. So I require a response within 14 days of your receipt of this letter. Remember, if they don't respond to your letter within the set amount of time, after they don't respond, that which is not rejected has now been accepted. So it stands as truth. Also know that that affidavit of truth is a living testimony. It would be as similar to if you went into an admiralty law courtroom, put your hand on a Bible, and swore to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It's a living testimony. It is so powerful. Yes, recognized in Article 3 courts, recognized in Article 1 courts. It's just used all over the place. So if you want to write your own lawful affidavit so you can bring your grievances to whoever you need to, you can write an affidavit to a sheriff. You can write an affidavit to a county commissioner. You can write an affidavit to the manager at a grocery store. So, you know, whatever your situation is, or just a man or a woman who did you wrong. Yes, you can do this. And I believe in you. And together we can make a difference, because it's like Shawshank Redemption style. We're just chipping away a little bit at a time, lawfully, peacefully, lovingly, seeking remedy and offering forgiveness. And we can come to peace by doing these lawful administrative processes without being jerks. We're going to be mature. And I love you, and have a beautiful day. Visit us at americansinaction.info and come check out. Oh, we're doing the Q&A this Saturday, the 13th. Q&A Pacific Daylight Time at 12 noon, and it's free. So if anyone has questions for our team at Americans in Action, we help people with the repudiation process. We help people with affidavit writing.